If you could let me know when you've made contact. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Good morning, Edith Bush for the Office of the State Attorney.
Thomas Koch, Public Defender's Office.
Can somebody put the headphones on him?
No, the interpreter is connected but cannot hear anything for some reason.
All right, let me know. He has the headphones on now.
Sí.
Connected, Your
Sí,
Honor.
lo escucho.
Okay, excellent. And good morning, sir. Tell me your name, please.
Orlin Montoya Chavarría.
Orly Montoya Chavarria.
All right, sir, you're here in case number 2020 CF 8277 AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias. There was probable cause found. The state did file an information in your case charging you with, by information, with harassing or aggravated stalking with a credible threat. And I will appoint the public defender in that case for you. So in that case, you're going to have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. And you're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred or to the victim's residence. You're not to possess weapons, firearms, or ammunition, and you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any illegal substances without a valid prescription. Sir, do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Oh, sí.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Correct. I understand.
And I believe we have another case as well. And it's a different victim in that matter. So we'll have to have two no contact orders. No, it's not this, it's the same victim. I believe it is the same victim. All right, so, and in that case, 2020 MM 453AA, you were charged with stalking, and there is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender in that case as well. So again, no contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond on the aggravated stalking case is set at $10,000. The stalking case is $1,000.
Oh, ¿por qué?
Yeah, you can just ask.
¿Puedo hablar?
Can I say something?
I would be very careful what you say, sir, because everything that you say is being recorded and can be used against you. So if you have a question, I advise that you speak with your attorney about the matter. All right, thank you, sir. And Mr. Interpreter, I believe that's the only Spanish interpreter case that we have. We do have, I think, are there people in the gallery?
There's just one, Your
Just
Honor,
one,
and she does not need an
And she does not need
interpreter.
the interpreter. Okay,
Your
so I think we do not need your services any longer. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Your Honor.
Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Your Honor, just one. I just want to double check on that. No, she does not need it.
Okay, excellent. Okay. All right, and then we can do Mr. Khan. We're going to have to call for that. Are they already on the phone? Oh, right, there you go. Good morning. This is Judge Wish. Is this the interpreter?
This is the interpreter, Your Honor. My ID number is 201976.
All right, and what was your name, ma'am?
Hasina, Hasina.
Okay, and I have the individual before me who needs your services. If you could introduce yourself to him so that I know he understands you and ask him to state his name, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. हेलो जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
जी, मैं आपकी उर्दू की तर्जमान बात कर रही हूँ और आप अपना पूरा नाम बताइए।
मोहम्मद सरफराज खान।
मोहम्मद
सरफराज खान।
मोहम्मद सरफराज खान।
Mr. Khan, you're here in case number 2020 MM 6697.
और खान साहब, आज आप यहाँ आए हैं मामला नंबर 2020 MM 6697 के तहत।
Okay.
You were arrested for domestic violence battery, for which I do find probable cause.
और आपको गिरफ्तार किया गया था कि आप घरेलू तशद्दुद के मामले में, और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि कोई मुनासिब वजह है।
I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case.
और मैं जो अवामी बचाव का जो वकील है उसके ऑफिस से आपको बचाव का एक वकील दूंगी।
Yes, Ms. Bush?
Your Honor, I was just asking if the interpreter had been sworn.
I'm sorry?
If the interpreter had been sworn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not ask her that. I appreciate that. I totally forgot. Madam Interpreter, have you been sworn in today at all?
Not today.
Okay, I'm going to have you raise your right hand to be sworn in. Do you swear to translate from English to, and what, I'm not sure which language. To Urdu? Urdu. And from Urdu to English to the best of your ability?
I do.
Has everything that you've translated thus far been to the best of your ability as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, sir, I've appointed the public defender to represent you in your case, and I'm ordering that you have no contact, directly or indirectly, with any victim or witness in the case.
जी, तो मैं आपके लिए बचाव का वकील जो है अवामी बचाव के दफ्तर से आपको दिलवाने का इंतजाम कर रही हूँ, और मैं आपको ये कह रही हूँ कि आप किसी जो भी शिकार हुए हैं इस तशद्दुद के, उनसे कोई भी राब्ता नहीं करेंगे, या तो सीधे या किसी और के जरिए, और उनसे दूर रहेंगे।
You're to maintain a separate residence from the victim.
आपको अलग घर में रहना है जो शिकार हैं उनसे।
You may return one time with law enforcement to get personal belongings should you need to do so.
और ये जो कोई भी कानूनी बंदा हो या कोई पुलिस हो, उसके साथ सिर्फ एक दफा आप घर जा सकते हैं अपनी चीजें उठाने के लिए।
You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition.
और आपको किसी भी तरह के कोई भी असला, हथियार या कोई बंदूक या कोई भी ऐसी चीज आप अपने पास नहीं रख सकते हैं।
You're to comply with any department and children and families investigation.
और जो भी बच्चों का और खानदान का जो महकमा है, उनकी जो भी तहकीकात है उसमें आपको उनके साथ ताउन करना है।
All right, and he has not been qualified for pretrial release, is that correct?
Yeah, Your Honor, he qualifies.
Okay, I'm going to place you in pretrial release, Mr. Khan. Make sure you comply with the court order.
और ये मुकदमे से पहले हम आपको रिहा कर रहे हैं, तो आप ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि जो भी शर्तें आपको कही गई हैं उसको ज़रूर आप उसके ऊपर अमल करें।
Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yeah.
और जो बिल्कुल भी राब्ता नहीं करना है, ये बात आपकी बिल्कुल समझ आ गई है?
जी, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day, sir.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Thompson
आपको
is
बहुत-बहुत
out
शुक्रिया।
there. Huh? I can't hear her. I think I need a hearing aid. I don't know. Okay. Good morning. Can you tell
morning.
me your name, ma'am?
Michaela Bryant.
All right, Ms. Bryant, you're here in case number 2020 CF 11116AO. You're arrested for aggravated assault domestic violence and battery domestic violence. And I'll appoint the public defender. I don't find probable cause for count one. I do find probable cause for count two. Ms. Bush, do you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, if I recall this correctly, there was a firearm involved in this matter.
Well, the allegation is that she apparently got in the victim's face, shoved her, the two entered into a physical altercation. Then it's alleged that the defendant ran to her room towards her closet and stated she was going to shoot the victim. But at that point, she was not in possession of a weapon, nor had any weapon been seen by the alleged victim in the matter.
Yes, Your Honor, Yes, Your Honor, the state would ask the court to find simple assault probable cause.
And Mr. Koch,
Yes, Your Honor. I believe in the affidavit it alleges that the assault was, I was going to shoot you. I don't think there's even PC for simple assault.
all right, Ms., what elements are there for just an assault?
Your Honor,
other
during the
than-
course of the argument, or the altercation, it is alleged that the defendant said that she was going to shoot the victim, at which time she ran toward her room, and that's the room in which the weapon was found in. So simple assault would just be a threat,
Well, with an
that they
act,
could
okay.
likely follow through on, and the victim felt threatened that she was going to carry through with shooting because she had a weapon that had a loaded magazine, though there was no round in the chamber. It says,
I'm
at
not
the
sure if there
time
was a
Toynette
present- okay, I'm just not sure-
advised.
I'm not sure there's a present ability, so at that point, but if you could further explain it. I'm gonna look at the specific statute.
Your Honor, if the present ability, the state would argue, is the fact that she knowingly had a gun in her room, in the closet, and she knowingly ran toward that area. And the victim advised she was afraid her niece was going to shoot her. And that was why she contacted law enforcement.
Okay, so I don't know how that would be any different than the aggravated assault with the deadly weapon.
Your Honor, it would be different because this just stops with the threat, not with the aggravator of the deadly weapon, because it was not in her possession at the time, though she was going toward, and the victim believed and perceived that she had the present ability, if she reached her room, reached that gun, that she would shoot her.
Okay, I'm reading the statute. An assault is an intentional unlawful threat by word or act to do violence to the person of another, coupled with an apparent ability to do so and doing some act which creates a well-founded fear in such other person that such violence is imminent. I don't think there was imminent violence at that time, based on where the gun was located. So I'm not going to find probable cause for a simple assault as to count one.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But I do find probable cause for count two. So, Ms. Bryant, do we have any victims present?
No, Your
No?
Honor.
Okay, so I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything on the order, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings should you need to do so. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Based on the fact that I found no probable cause for count 1, you'll be released on your own recognizance on count 1. Count 2, you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. I am also going to add that you're to surrender any weapons or firearms within 6 hours of any release. So if you have any other weapons or firearms or ammunition, you're to surrender that to your local law enforcement agency. Do you have any questions about anything that I've ordered, Ms. Bryant?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Good luck, ma'am. Can we let I don't know if Mr. Thompson needs to go meet with his client. I don't know if we can let him in or if we have, he keeps getting up, so. All right, we'll do it after this defendant. All right, tell me your name, please.
Nishan Joseph.
All right, sir, you're here in case number 2020 CF 11134. Thank you. AO. You're arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. If you find that there's probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. Do we have any witnesses present?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're also to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your things should you need to do so. No alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond will be set at $3,500. I'm revoking the bond and setting the bond, or revoking the pretrial release and setting the bond at $1,000 in 2020 MM 4001AO. You do have Mr. Bankowitz in that case, sir. Okay? Do you
ma'am.
understand everything I've explained?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, are you going to do 500 for each count on the out on bond?
I think they only filed one charge in that case. I think they only filed a violation of curfew. So, and I looked it up, but let me. Information was filed on June 26, 2020, charged with just a violation of curfew. So, in terms of the arrest, complaint, the violation of the curfew was count 1, so that will be 1,000. Count 2 will be ROR.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Justin Block.
Okay, do we know what happened to Jason Shiver or Shiver?
He's outside.
He's outside? I'm happy to do him first. I just wondering if we were skipping over him, that's all. We're skipping over?
No, we're gonna skip over and come to the shop.
Okay, all right. And you're Mr. Black?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, sir, you're here in case number 2020 MM 6698AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. Do find that there's probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. Do we have any witnesses? No? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
So I'm ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim or any witnesses in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order, sir. Do you understand everything on the order?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings should you need to do so. No alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond is set at $1,500. I am revoking the release in 2020 CF 3913AO. You do have an attorney in that case. They'll have to file a motion to set bond for you. All right, come forward, please. Tell me your name.
Jason Shiver.
All right, Mr. Shiver, you're here in 2020 CF 11089AO. You're arrested for aggravated assault, domestic violence. I find probable cause for the offense, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Are there two cases? Because I only have one affidavit, and that's for the 11089. But I'm showing two case numbers on the face sheet.
And I'm showing.
I looked up the other case number, and there was nothing there.
And there's 11088, Your Honor.
Yes.
Right, I don't have that affidavit, nor was it in Odyssey. I think it appears as though it's the same offense. This particular affidavit charges aggravated assault, domestic violence. In the affidavit, at the last sentence, it says, I have probable cause to charge defendant with aggravated battery with a motor vehicle and aggravated assault.
And that is what the 11088 is, and it appears to be the same affidavit, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's the same, I just was handed the affidavit. It's the same exact affidavit. I'm not sure the distinction between the two, other than the vehicle.
I think the assault is the driving toward, and the battery is if there was contact made, and I don't recall if there was contact made.
With the vehicle, yes, while she was in it, it's alleged that there was.
And so the aggravated assault would be the threat of the battery leading up to it, is what I took from this.
Okay. All right, I have read the affidavit. It's the same affidavit, and so I do find that there is probable cause in 2020 CF 11088AO for the aggravated battery with a motor vehicle. And I'll appoint the public defender in that case. I'm not sure why they did two separate affidavits. So I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim or witness in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so additionally, you're to maintain separate residences. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're to return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings should you need to do so. You're not to possess weapons, firearms, or any ammunition. So for the aggravated battery with a motor vehicle, your bond is set at $5,000. On the aggravated assault, domestic violence, the bond is set at $1,500.
That's it. Yep.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
My name's Aaron Dion.
All right, Mr. Dion, you're here in 2020 MM 6695AO. You're arrested for dating violence battery. I do find that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, and I don't believe we have any witnesses here.
No, Your Honor.
I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the order, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence. Are you living together?
No, yes and no. We've been
Okay,
living together.
My question really is geared.
It
I don't
won't
want-
be,
Okay, my
no.
question's really geared towards, because I'm ordering that you maintain a separate residence.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
fine. I
she's
can do that,
there,
ma'am.
Do you need to go back and get your things with law enforcement?
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
that's where I'm going, okay?
Okay.
So I'll give you one-time return with law enforcement to get your things, should you need to do so. If she's not living at the residence, you can live at the residence, okay?
Yeah. Now,
Why don't you ask Mr. Koch anything that you have to say? I don't want you to say anything that you're gonna regret, okay?
Can we have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
her and I run a business together as well. Business checking time and all that together.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond is set at $1,000. All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, so what do I need, $100 to get out?
Come forward, please. Tell me your name.
Say it again, ma'am.
Sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat yourself, please?
Tell me your name.
Oh, Aaron Gunn.
Mr. Gunn, you're here in 2020 MM 6692AO. You're arrested for dating violence battery. Do you find that there's probable cause? And I'll appoint the public defender. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you raise your right hand to be sworn in, please? And you may have to get a little closer to the microphone. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down now. Please tell me your name and spell your last name.
Tahara McLeod, McLeod.
Okay, and Ms. Bush, did you wish to inquire?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McLeod, what is your relationship with Mr. Gunn?
Friend?
And do you all live together? And ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to put your mask back up. Thank you. And you said, yes, you do live together?
Yes.
How long have you been in a relationship with Mr. Gunn?
Friendship.
How long have you been in the friendship with Mr. Gunn?
About 5 months.
About 5 months. Over the course of those 5 months, has there been any violence in your relationship?
Misunderstandings, no violence.
Misunderstandings, but no violence. And do you want to have contact with him? Are you afraid of him?
No.
Does anyone else live in the residence with the two of you?
Yes.
Who lives in the residence?
My husband.
Your husband?
Yes.
Do you have any concerns for your husband's safety?
No.
With Mr. Gunn? And so, did you know Mr. Gunn prior to this friendship?
Yes. Can I say something? The original call was just to have guidance while he took some things out. They charged him with battery. He never put his hands on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my question is, before the 5 months, did you know him before the 5 months?
No.
Okay. Do you believe that alcohol or any kind of controlled substance might have contributed to his behavior?
No.
if something like this were to happen again, and you felt that you were threatened or your husband was threatened, would you call law enforcement?
No.
So if you felt that your safety was in jeopardy, you would not call the police?
No.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Koch, any questions for Ms. McLeod?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your testimony. I am going to order no contact. He's also, you signed a trespass warning, so he is not to return back to the residence. If you want that removed, you're going to have to
Removed.
contact law enforcement, okay? I can't change the trespass warning, that's in effect, so,
Can I don't know if you guys can maybe obtain like the original 911 call. It was
ma'am,
non-emergency.
I'm not involved in the prosecution of cases. That's the state attorney's office. They make those decisions. They review the evidence in the case. If you think there's additional evidence that needs to be obtained by their office, you can contact them and ask them to request the 911 call. But I can't do that, okay?
I'm just trying to understand, how is he charged with
Okay, so
battery?
the allegation was that there was law enforcement was called, that there was an allegation that he grabbed you by the throat and pushed you up against the fridge in the kitchen.
That's not true.
And then I'm just telling you what's in the affidavit. You asked me what the basis was for the arrest. I'm telling you what the basis was based on the law enforcement officer's affidavit. So I'm ordering that there's no contact directly or indirectly with you. So, Mr. Gunn, I'm going to have you sign the no contact order. If you all want that changed, your attorneys will have to file a motion to change the no contact order, and that will have to be changed in writing by a judge, okay? Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence, and you were trespassed. There's a trespass warning that was signed, so you cannot return back there, but I am going to let you go back one time with law enforcement.
I ain't going.
If you,
I ain't going. I'm sorry. This
okay,
what happened.
I'm just, if you need to go back and get your things, okay. So I won't
That's what
allow you to
happened.
do that, okay?
That's what happened.
All right, you're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You're to abide by the trespass warning. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm gonna release you on pretrial release. Make sure you comply, okay?
What's that mean?
All right, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, it's abide by the trespass warning and no return. He does not want a one-time return.
You have to take all your stuff.
Okay.
Good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Elish Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, you're here in 2020 MM 454 AA. You were arrested for a simple assault. I do find that there's probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And I don't believe we have any witnesses present. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the order, sir?
Yes, I would like to say something.
Okay, Mr. Koch, do you want to speak with Mr.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones and see if he has a question that you can answer?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so did you understand everything on the order, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I heard what he said.
Okay. If you have questions, contact the public defender. They can answer
Yes,
any
ma'am.
questions for you. You have to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement should you need to do so. So I'm not kicking you out of the home. I'm just saying that you can't be there if the victim is there. So if they've left, then you can be there,
That'd be
okay?
fine. I don't
All
like
right,
that.
you're not to possess weapons, firearms, or any ammunition. If you have any other weapons or any firearms, you have to surrender them within 6 hours of your release
There you go.
from the jail to your local law enforcement agency, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And you do qualify for pretrial release. I am gonna place you on pretrial release, Mr. Jones, okay?
Yes.
You all right, Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am. It just.
Okay, you haven't been formally charged, you've just been arrested. So call your attorney, tell them everything that you want them to know, and they can speak with the prosecutor, okay? You need to sit down. Okay, just take deep breaths,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
Everything's gonna be okay. You'll be released today. All right. Are you Miss Walker? Okay. Can you tell me your full name, ma'am? All right, Miss Walker, you're here in 2020 MM 6688AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. Do find that there's probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did they provide that to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you, I don't know if you've signed it yet, but did you
no.
understand everything that's on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings, should you need to do so. And you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any drugs without a valid prescription. You may not possess weapons, firearms, or ammunition. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm gonna place you in pretrial release, okay?
What's that mean?
I'll answer your question. You should sign that.
Oh.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Good morning. Tell me your name.
Michael Blackman.
Mr. Blackman, you're here in 2020 CT 5678. You were arrested for driving under the influence. There's probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any drugs without a valid prescription. Your bond will stay at $500. You're out on release for leaving the scene of an accident with injuries and resisting an officer without violence. I am revoking and setting the bond at none in that matter. 2020 CF 9889AO. Does he have the public defender or an attorney in that case? Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender for you so that they can file any appropriate motions to set bond in that matter.
I can't do it.
Good morning, tell me your name, sir.
Luis Herato de Jesus.
All right, sir, you're here in a couple of cases. I've got 2018 CT 6234AO. It's a failure to appear for an arraignment. And the bond in that case was set at $500. Does he have the public defender? Okay, I'll appoint the public defender for you in that matter. 2020 CT 5679. Still driving while license suspended. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You may not drive without a valid driver's license. The bond will stay at $500. And then there's a resisting an officer without violence in 2020 MM 6702AO. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender, and the bond will stay at $500. He's on probation, so not entertaining a plea today on any of that, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Your
sir.
Gentleman, April Thompson is medical.
Okay, and so I'm gonna appoint the public defender for Miss Johnson and 2020 CT 1455AO. Mr. Koch, did you want to waive her appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I think maybe, does she have the public defender already? Okay, she already has the PD. All right, so she failed to appear for a status hearing. She does have a $1,000 bond, and so the public defender was previously appointed. All right. Do we have any arraignments coming? Okay, seems to be the, I don't know, were any written pleas of not guilty filed in any of these? I'm not sure.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so we have Miguel Angel Barajas Vila, who, it was a notice to appear. My guess is he's here on something else. He has no attorney, so I'm gonna appoint the public defender in 2020 CT 3266AO. Mr. Koch, did you want to waive his appearance and enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll
Please.
give you a date.
Thank you.
It's gonna be Division 83, sorry, pre-trial conference, October the 5th at 9 o'clock at 6 C.
Thank
And
you.
Mr. Cockfield is not coming, or Miss Cockfield is not coming? Is that correct? Okay. So 2020 CT 5510AO, and the PD was previously appointed. And is Miss Cockfield medical?
I believe.
Who is the owner?
Alexander, or it must be, I don't know if it's a he or she.
Alexander Cockfield.
Cockfield,
Yes,
medical?
yes.
Okay, all right, so the PD was previously appointed. Mr. Koch, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
Okay.
Division 85, pre-trial conference, October the 26th at 9 o'clock.
And then Heriberto Silva in 2020 CT 1689AO, is that medical as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so the PD was previously appointed. Mr. Koch, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes. Your Honor.
Okay.
Division 62, pre-trial conference, October the 22nd at 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
Right, and then we've got Ralph John Wormley, 2020 CT 1047AW. Is that also medical?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so the PD was previously appointed. Mr. Koch, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Division 84, pre-trial conference, October the 8th at 10 a.m.
All right, and finally, we've got Kyle Ray Soltuski, 2020 MM 6595AO. The PD was previously appointed. It's transferred from a felony to a misdemeanor. And Mr. Koch, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Please.
Division 80, pre-trial conference, November the 10th at 9 o'clock.
All right.
Thank you.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name, please?
T.R. Banks.
Okay.
This is.
Oh, okay, Mr. Thompson, okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm well,
Do we
thank
have-
you.
Is there a sticky or, Miss Spanks, okay, I've got it. All right, and so, Mr. Thompson, are you representing her in the Osceola case?
Yes, Your Honor, I
Okay.
am.
All
Harold
right.
Thompson on behalf of Ms.
So
Tiara
she-
Banks.
She was picked up on an Osceola County warrant, 20 CF 2655, and her bond is set at $1,500. My guess is if she was trying to bond out, it's because of the holds. I'm releasing those. I'm not taking any action on them. I have no idea what happened in Osceola County. But if she's unable to post her bond, Judge Carter will contact Judge Morgan in Osceola County, and we have been taking pleas here on cases as well, so I don't know.
Okay, thank you so much, Your Honor.
Okay?
Thank you. Good to
All
see
right.
you. That's it
Make
for me,
sure
Bobby.
you keep
Stu.
in touch with your attorney, Ms. Banks, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Have a good day,
All right,
okay?
you too.
Have a good day.
Morning.
Okay, and do you want me to reset this for tomorrow, Mr. Koch? Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it's a credit time served adjudication.
So we'll see, I'll reset it for tomorrow and see if we can, if she wants to accept the plea, because it's mental health, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
So we'll reset that. Can you just put the offer, just that state made an offer of credit for time served? You're here tomorrow, Ms. Bush, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Tell me your name, sir.
Isaac Larson.
Okay, do we know what happened to Jacob Gerald? Okay. So I'm gonna find his behavior to be a waiver, appoint the public defender if he can't control his behavior. Mr. Koch, did you want to waive, I mean, I'm finding a waiver, but,
Yes, Your Honor.
okay, so he was charged with trespass on property after warning and resisting an officer without violence in 2020 MM 6696. There's probable cause not to return back to the Lake Eola at 512 East Washington Street. Abide by the trespass, no contact with victims or witnesses. The bond will stay at $500 and $100. I'm not taking any action on the out on release case. And he does have an attorney in that matter as well. All right, and you said Mr. Larison?
Mr. Larson,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 MM 6705. You're arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find that there's probable cause. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right, did you want to do that, Mr. Larison?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Means
Did you read
everything.
the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Understood.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order that you pay your court costs by September 15th, 2021. That gives you a year. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck, okay? And Mr. Koch, I didn't appoint the public defender. It's just an additional charge that, so,
Yes, Your Honor.
on the pleable cases if they're gonna enter a plea, unless you're doing a lot of work. Good morning, tell me your name.
Frederick M. Pinkney, miss.
Mr. Pickney, you're here in 2020 MM 807AW. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. Do you find that there's probable cause? Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the 7-Eleven at 6994 West Colonial Drive. Abide by all trespass warnings, no contact with witnesses, and court costs.
Okay, did you want to do that, Mr. Pickney?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Do you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Do you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am, Your
All
Honor.
right, I do find a
Your
factual.
Honor, not
Yeah.
to interrupt you, I have competency concerns in this case. I believe we represent him on the trespass that he's out on right now.
Okay, has there been motions or has there been a competency finding in that matter?
And I believe his prior history with our office, Your Honor.
So there's prior cases that are
Yes.
that are not existing at the time.
I don't know, Your Honor,
Okay.
I had a flag this morning on the
Okay,
file.
well, let me look up the case that he's out on release on. I'm not intending to revoke that case, and see if anything's been filed, but he seems to understand what's going on today, and that's really the important part. There was a written plea of not guilty filed in that case. Nothing else has been filed. So, Mr. Pinckney, let me ask you some questions, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand what I am, what I do?
Yes, ma'am.
Who am I?
The judge.
Okay, what do I do?
You hand down a sentence, Your Honor.
What?
Pass down a sentence.
Okay, and then the gentleman that was standing next to you, who's he?
I guess he's a public defender.
Okay, and what does he do?
Represent you.
Sorry?
Represent you. in the-
Okay, and then do you know who the lady is over there?
Yes, the state, yes.
What does she do?
She be there whether you want to make a plea or not, accept your plea or whatever.
She what?
She work for the state. Whether you want to accept your plea, she
Okay,
yeah.
all right, okay, I get you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then do you understand what you were arrested for?
Trespassing after warrant, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then do you understand what this proceeding is right here?
Yes.
Okay, what are we doing right now?
Having court, miss.
Okay, and when you say having court, what do you mean?
I mean, you've been charged for a sentence, and you're the judge, and you preside over the case.
Okay, and you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were able to understand everything in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand? Is there anything that you didn't understand?
No, I know everything. I've been through this before,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Have you been diagnosed with any mental health or mental illness?
Well, yeah,
issues?
I live in a group home now, but I take medication. I'm fine.
You take medication?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
what kind of medication do you take?
Well, right now, I don't know the name of the medication, but like I said, I'm competent. Like I said, I know what's going on.
Okay, the medication makes you understand better what's happening.
Yes,
Is that what
ma'am.
you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Koch, I think that he understands what's happening. Nothing's been filed in his other case. There's been no information filed, so I couldn't take a plea on that today, but I have no competency concerns about the issues right now. In this case, he understands what he's charged with. He knows what everyone in the court does. He knows what's happening right now. And so the competency issue is whether or not he understands the proceedings against him in this case. And I think that he does. So I'm going to take the plea.
Yes,
If you feel that later on it's in his best interest to withdraw that plea, which I don't
want
think it
to-
probably is, you certainly can file your motion, but I don't
take the plea,
always
man.
think that that's
Okay, yes,
the
Your Honor.
best thing to do, okay?
Honor.
So, but that's up to you and your office, so, and so, Mr. Pickney, I can't remember where I was in my plea colloquy, but I think we went through a lot. And are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am. No,
Do you
ma'am.
understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find that there's a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file, that you're alert, that you're intelligent, that you understand the nature and the consequences of the plea.
Yes, ma'am.
And that the medication that you're taking helps you to understand what's going on right
Yes, ma'am.
now.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Do you agree with all that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And I'm still going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Don't go back to the 7-Eleven.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would not go back there no more because.
Okay. Abide by the trespass warning.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And no contact with any witnesses at that location.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm going to order you pay your court costs by September 15th, 2021.
Okay.
If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. You do have another case pending, but nothing's been filed formally by the state in that case yet.
Yes, ma'am.
But just make sure you keep in touch with the public defender, okay?
I will, yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you,
Don't
Judge.
miss any court dates if you have any in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck.
Your Honor, Ms. Van Cleve is behavior.
Okay, I'm gonna find her behavior to be a waiver and appoint the public defender, 2020 MM 6700. Mr. Koch, I'm finding a waiver based on her behavior. I'm finding probable cause for trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance. And if I didn't say it, appoint the public defender. So she's not to return back to the racetrack at 12136 South Yongyang Parkway. No contact with victims or witnesses and abide by the trespass warning. She has no criminal history whatsoever. I am going to release her on her own recognizance. I'm going to order that she is to get in touch with the public defender's office within 24 hours of her release. Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Billy Robinson.
Please keep the mask on. You can. We're all talking with the mask.
Sorry
on,
about it. I'm
okay?
sorry, ma'am. I'm not trying to disrespect.
That's okay. We're just gonna keep the mask.
Billy
on.
Robinson.
Okay, and you don't have to get right up into the microphone.
I'm
but
sorry.
It's okay.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask a question,
Okay,
ma'am.
hold on, Mr. Robinson.
All right.
Do we know what happened to Tawana, Washington?
Mental health, Your Honor.
All right, and so that's a trespass, after warning, she's mental health. Mr. Koch, I'm gonna, reset it for tomorrow for Judge Carter, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, I don't even know if it would be a pleable case. I'm seeing that she has competency issues in other cases, okay? So I think that you would probably object to any plea. So what I'll do is appoint the public defender, 2020 MM 6693AO. There's probable cause for trespass after warning in a conveyance. And so she's not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, no contact with victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning. And I am gonna stay her bond at the $500, so your office can file any motions that need to be filed for Ms. Washington.
Yes, Your Honor.
No,
Any action on her out on bond cases?
no action.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Robinson. Are you Billy Robinson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender. I don't want you to say anything to me. I want you to talk to Mr. Koch, and then if
Sure.
something needs to be said, then we can talk about it.
Put my mask on?
No.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Robinson, did you want to try to resolve the case today?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to go home R&R.
Okay, well, there's releasing on your own
I
recognizance.
mean, release on my own conscience.
Right, it's not what it's called. It's called released on your own recognizance.
Yeah, reconnaissance, ma'am.
It's an ROR.
Yes, R&R.
Okay, ROR. And the state does have an offer for you. If you wanted to resolve the case today, you wouldn't have to go back to court, okay? So it appears as though you're having a problem getting to court.
No,
So
I go to court. I go back.
Do you want to hear what the offer is?
No, ma'am. I just want to get it resolved today.
Okay, but that's resolving. We're not resolving it if we're releasing you and you have to go back to court. So I think you're misunderstanding the two.
Yes, I'd like to resolve it today.
Okay, Ms. Bush, what's the offer?
It's an adjudication of guilt, 4 days Orange County Jail. I believe he has 4 days credit time served. And no return to the scene, which is the 7-Eleven at 901 South Orange Blossom Trail in Orlando. Abide by all trespass warnings, no contact with witnesses. Cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $46.60.
Okay, so you had the PD previously appointed, so the PD, do you want to ask Mr. Koch any questions about the plea offer?
Yes, I want to know what.
Your Honor, we would like not to resolve this at this
Okay,
time.
he doesn't qualify for, I don't believe he's gonna qualify for pretrial release. I can have him screened, but I'm not authorized to change the capias, okay, by law. So there's case law that says that I can't change the $100 capias. I know it's a minimal bond, but I can't do that. So he has to understand that if he doesn't qualify for pretrial release, I have no objection to him being released to pretrial release, but if he's not qualified, the bond will remain intact and he'll have to pay the bond or resolve the case before he gets out of jail. So you can resolve the case and get out of jail for this case with the offer, or you'll have to be interviewed. If you qualify for pretrial release, you can be released on that, or you'll have to post the bond.
I want to close the bond and I want to get let out.
I can't do anything about the bond, sir, but if you
Not the
qualify
bond.
for pretrial release, then I'm happy to release you on pretrial release because the judge said that I could.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. We'd like to see if he qualifies for pretrial release, Your Honor.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take no action and he'll be screened for pretrial release. If he qualifies, I have no objection to him being released on pretrial release. If not, the bond will stay and your attorneys will have to file a bond motion, or you can enter a plea at some later date if you choose to do that.
Tonight, today?
Koch?
Mr. Koch, I have a pretrial date for Mr. Robinson.
Okay, yes.
It's gonna be Division 80, pretrial conference, November the 10th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
All right, tell me your name.
Yes, ma'am. Christopher Gaskin.
All right, Mr. Gaskin, you're here in 2020 MM 455 AA. They charged you with a violation of the county ordinance. They didn't charge the right statute. It's the penalty statute. The statute, or the ordinance, is actually mentioned in the affidavit. So they didn't, I don't find probable cause based on what they charge. There's probable cause for the offense that they're meaning to charge you with, but the statute that they charge you with is a penalty statute.
Yes, ma'am.
So not the violation itself. Ms. Bush,
And, Your Honor, the state would submit that, and I can't provide Your Honor with the supporting sites. However, the state's argument would be that the narrative of the arrest affidavit supersedes what is on the page, and I see the court is saying that the narrative speaks to a felony. I don't.
It speaks to an open container ordinance violation.
Yes, Your Honor. And
the statute 125.69 is the penalty.
yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And the state would submit to the court that the narrative, what is written in the narrative, which is a clear example of the officer's intent, would supersede what came up on the face sheet of the arrest affidavit, which could be attributed merely to hitting the wrong key.
Okay, so Mr. Gaskin, this
Yes,
is what
ma'am.
we're dealing with here. I don't know if you wanted to resolve your case today. This is the only time that it's an MM case. I
Yes,
don't know
ma'am.
why it's an MM case, because it should be an ordinance case. I feel like the officer just really messed up completely.
Yes.
And this
In the
should be,
affidavit.
this should be
Yeah.
a county ordinance,
You're messing with-
Right. It
Your
should be a
Honor, under
CO
county
case.
ordinance number 4-27 is what it should be.
And the case style should be a CO.
And it should be a CO, Your Honor. And the state would ask the court to find probable cause for violation of the county ordinance that is essentially an open container.
Mr. Gaskin, did you want to resolve the case today so you didn't have to come back to court, or what did you want? What was your intent coming into court today?
If I can resolve it today,
Okay,
Judge,
so I would have to find probable cause for the ordinance, the open container ordinance. So do you want to talk to Mr. Koch about it really quickly? Because I'm happy to do that, and I think that I can. But the charge that's in the affidavit on the front page is not a correct charge. Either way, it's not, you wouldn't have to come back to court. See, if I don't find probable cause, the state can ask me for 24 hours. I would still maintain the bond. You would then have to bond out. I'm just telling you everything that's gonna have to happen. Then you'd have to come back to court again downtown. So I just don't know what it is that you wanna do today.
I want to go home today if it's possible, Judge.
Okay. Is it a credit for time served?
If it's possible, yeah, I
An
really.
adjudication
it goes
credit
to my
for time
kids.
served, Your
Okay.
Honor.
I messed up, I shouldn't have done it, but I'm not.
I don't want you to
Yes,
admit
ma'am.
anything, okay? You don't
Okay.
have to admit anything. I'm just
Okay.
trying to explain to you what's happening. 'Cause
Yes,
it
ma'am.
seems to be an issue with the ordinances that the law enforcement tends to charge this statute and not the correct ordinance for whatever reason, so.
Right, I messed up.
So, Mr. Koch, did you want to make an argument or anything? I mean, I think he just wants to resolve the case.
I agree, Your Honor. I think he
Okay.
just wants to
All
resolve
right,
it.
so, Mr. Gaskin, did you read the plea form?
Oh. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
yes, Judge.
Did you understand everything on that plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, I understand.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
And you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you understand that you're going to plead to a county ordinance 4-27. It's an open container violation, basically, okay.
Oh, can I
That's
ask you
the
a
charge.
question? Oh, okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And I think I asked you if you were on probation and.
No, ma'am, I'm not
Okay,
on
are you,
probation.
you're not on probation?
No, ma'am.
And you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I find a factual basis to accept your plea to the offense. I will adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served, order you pay your court costs by September 15th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now, you'll get released today, and you don't have to come back to court.
Thank you very much, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Okay, thank
So
you.
I am gonna find probable cause
Would the court like a copy of that section or not?
of 4-27.
4-27.
No, that's okay.
Thank you,
So-
Judge.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. This seems to be, we used to have that a lot, and then they, I don't know, seems to be an issue. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Trayvon Fraser.
We know what happened to Christopher Corbett? Christopher Corbett. It's a felony VOP. Are we, I'm sorry, it's just, I'm going by what I have in my stack. Yeah. Okay, what was your name again?
Trayvon Fraser.
Okay. Okay, this is out-of-county warrants. Okay, we'll do that. That's fine. All right, Mr. Frazier, you're here on a Marion County warrant in 28 CF 2714, and I'm gonna appoint the public defender here to represent you. You do have no bond in the case. And so what's gonna happen now is that one of the judges here is gonna contact the judge in Marion County, and you'll have the public defender so you can communicate with them. You should be back here in a week or so for a status hearing to see if we'll modify that bond or get you a bond. If not, I don't know if Marion County's coming and picking people up. Some circuits are and some are not, okay? So that's the best I can do for you today, okay? I think it's really hot in here. Yeah. No, I'm not.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
One moment, John.
Okay. I have one at home. I put it on my treadmill. But I may need to bring it in.
Come on, Fred.
Did Deshaun Hosang bond out?
John, we're trying to locate Sharp.
Okay.
Can we do Herrera?
Yeah, we can do whatever. I was just trying to find out if Hosang bonded. I didn't have a face sheet, so.
What's the booking number?
2002-0217. Yeah, it was a flagler.
Yes,
Bonded?
Your Honor. He bonded.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Gladys Herrera.
Miss Herrera, you're here on a Charlotte County warrant in case number 161883F, and you do have no bond in the case. So I'm going to appoint the public defender here to represent you, and one of the judges here will contact the judge in Charlotte County and see if they'll modify the bond or give you a bond. And so you can communicate with the public defender. We'll bring you back in about a week or so and give you a status on that, okay?
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna do Mr. Sharp.
We can do whatever you want. Mr. Sharp? All right, tell me your name.
Raheem Sharp.
Mr. Sharp, you're here in 2020 CF 4147. It's a violation of probation on view based on the new law offense of possession of a controlled substance in 2020 CF 1113180. If you find probable cause for both of those charges, and I will appoint the public defender in both cases. So on the violation of probation, the bond will stay at none at this time. You'll see Judge Whitehead for an arraignment in a couple days. The possession of a controlled substance, you're not to possess or consume any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and that bond will stay at $1,000. So contact the public defender, but you should see Judge Whitehead fairly quickly, okay? All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Christopher Corbett.
All right, Mr. Corbett, you're here in 2019 CF 13013. It's an on-view violation of probation, and that is based on the new law offense of driving while license or no valid driver's license, 2020 CT 5680. There is probable cause for both of those offenses. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. So on the violation of probation, the bond will stay set at none. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment. The no valid, you can't drive without a valid driver's license, that bond will stay at the $500. All right, and Simpson?
Your Honor, Mr. Hossain refused. We have Mr. Simpson.
I'm sorry, who refused?
Hossain,
I don't have that.
Insurance Hossain. Might have bonded, it said bond pending.
Okay, I don't have it. I don't have a case. I only have one case left. It's DeMarco Simpson. Is this Mr. Simpson? Oh, I said, yeah,
He
okay,
bonded.
I'm sorry. Hosang bonded, yeah. That was an out of county. Are you Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Okay, you're here on a Brevard County warrant, and so you do have a bond of $250, I believe. Yes. And so, I'll appoint the public defender, just in case you're not able to bond out. One of the judges here will reach out to the judge in Brevard County. And so, do you think you're gonna be able to bond out, Mr. Simpson?
No, not unless I sign it out, but other than that, no.
Okay, I'm gonna let Judge Carter, she's the one that will contact Brevard and let them know that you may not be able to bond out. They may be able to resolve your case here if you wanted to do that. I'm not sure the status of the case in Brevard, but it's a misdemeanor, I believe, so I don't know. But you'll come back in a couple days if you haven't bonded out, okay? Or we'll modify the bond if we're allowed to do that, all right? But you do have an attorney. I've appointed the public defender here. All right, do you guys want to come back at 11:15? I think that will.
That works for me, Judge.
I think that we can get out by noon. Oh, I forgot about my 33-day motions. We'll do them now. All right, we got 33-day motion. I've got 2020 CF 97370 for Shaquanda Williams Jackson by Robin Barrow with conflict counsel.
A notice of non-filing was filed on September 14th.
All right, that will be granted. All right, good morning. Tell me your name. Okay. All right, ma'am, you're here in 2020 CF 108560. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was previously found for possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you on pretrial release, okay? This next case is a domestic case. So if we could get a no contact order for Mr. Blake. Can we get a no contact order for Mr. Blake? Because it's a domestic case. All right, are you Christopher Blake?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're here in 2020 CF 10484. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for aggravated assault with a weapon and criminal mischief less than 200. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. And so I'm ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim or any witnesses. This is, the victim is alleged to be your mom, okay? So I'm gonna order no contact. That can be changed in writing at a later date.
Yes.
But I am gonna have you sign the no contact order, so we'll have you look at that. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. I don't believe you live there, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so you're not to possess weapons, firearms, or any ammunition. I'm gonna stay the bond at the $250 on count 1. I'll reduce count 2 to $100.
And Your Honor, just for clarification, you're staying the bond at $2,500 for
Correct.
count 1? Thank you.
And then there's also a St. Lucie County warrant in 2020 MM 652. So that bond is set at none in that case. I'm gonna appoint the public defender here as well to represent you. We will reach out to St. Lucie County to see if they will modify the bond. But you do have the public defender appointed to represent you, so you should come back for a status hearing on that bond issue. Did you read the no contact order, Mr. Blake?
Yes.
You understand everything on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you have any questions about anything, contact the public defender, okay?
Do I have a bond on?
All right,
you
good
know,
luck,
which
sir.
one?
Jennifer Brown bonded, 20,
Yes,
yes, okay.
So I don't have a bond on it.
Correct for that one.
I don't.
No.
So what, I gotta wait?
All right, tell me your name, sir.
My name's Tommy Lee Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you're here for a failure to appear for a plea hearing in 2019 CF 1752180. The judge did set your bond at none. And so does I'm guessing he has the public defender or an attorney? Okay, you have the public defender. They're gonna have to file a motion to get you a bond in the case, okay?
Been appointed.
Good morning, tell me your name.
Justin Dylan Cox.
Okay, do we know what happened to Dracole Bury? I can take you said Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we figure out about that. All right, Mr. Cox, you're here in 2020 CF 10970AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias. The state did file an information. A judge did find probable cause for harassing. Looks like they charge you with harassing a witness, victim, or an informant. And that's, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness, no weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. Your bond will stay at $2,000. All right, thank you, sir. All right, good afternoon or morning. Tell me your name.
Dre Burry.
All right, Mr. Bury, you're here in 2020 CF 11141. You're arrested for possession of heroin and resisting an officer without violence. If you find that there's probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at $1,000. I'll reduce count 2 to 100. And then you've got a Duval County warrant where the judge did set your bond at none. I believe it's a failure to appear. So I'm going to appoint the public defender in that case here. And we will reach out to the judge in Duval County to see if they will give you a bond. If they, whether they do or they do not, you'll come back for a status hearing on that issue in about a week or so. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I got a question if it's possible.
Okay, what's your question? I don't want you to say anything about any facts about anything, okay?
Yeah. One moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. All right, please tell me your name.
Cole Drake.
Mr. Drake, you're here in 2020 CF 10835. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for shooting or throwing into an occupied vehicle, aggravated battery with a firearm, throwing or shooting into an occupied structure or dwelling, in possession of a concealed weapon or a firearm by a convicted delinquent. And I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any victims or witnesses, no weapons, firearms, or any ammunition, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. So the bond will stay at $10,000 on count 1. Count 2 will be set at $25,000. Count 3 I'll reduce to $150, and count 4 $150. You're out on release in 2020 CF 3714AO. I am revoking the release, the pretrial release, setting the bond at none. You do have an attorney in the case. They're going to have to file a motion to set bond for you.
Nope.
One of Ms. Edwards is medical.
Okay, medical. And 2019 CF 112050, it's a violation of condition of pretrial release. Do you have the public defender? Okay, Mr. Koch, do you want to waive her appearance? She has a bond of $1,500.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Tell me your name.
Keyshawn Hodge.
Mr. Hodge, you're here in 2020 CF 111270. You're arrested for burglary of an unoccupied conveyance and resisting an officer without violence. Do you find that there's probable cause? I'll appoint the public defender. You may not return back to the 242 West Michael Gladden Boulevard. No contact with victims or witnesses, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. It says that he qualifies for pretrial release, but he's on probation.
Yeah,
so-
no, Your Honor, that was a mistake. He
Okay.
doesn't.
All right, that's what I thought. So the bond will stay at 3,500 on count one. Count two will be 100.
So,
You're welcome.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Joseph Jackson.
All right, Mr. Jackson, you're here in 2016 CF 6437. You were arrested for failing to appear for your arraignment back in 2016. So, looks like the judge in the case back then set your bond at $15,000. Does he have the public defender? Okay. Do you have any attorney?
Your Honor, there's no attorney of record shown in the records that I could
Okay.
find. And that was reviewing the clerk's system.
Okay.
And it shows that the bondsman came off the bond May 23 of 2019 because it had reached the 3-year mark.
I see. Well, it looks like you're set for an in-jail arraignment with Judge Whitehead. So what I'm gonna do is, I can't change the bond, although it's a 2016 bond. I haven't had contact with Judge Barber, who's now in Division 16. So I'm gonna stay the bond in that matter. I am gonna appoint the public defender for you, but you'll see Judge Whitehead on that case in a couple days, okay? So you can maybe resolve it or address it. And you'll have the public defender. You also have a Highlands County warrant out of county. You do have bonds in each of the counts. So you have a $6,000 bond on counts 1 and 2, $10,000 on counts 3 and 4. Counts 5, 6, and 7 are $30,000, and then count 8 is $20,000, and count 9 is $6,000. So if you're able to bond out, you can bond out. You have bonds on everything, okay? I don't know if you'll be able to make those bonds, but I'm gonna appoint the public defender here on the Highlands County case as well. We'll reach out to Highlands County to see if they'll modify the bonds, but you do have the public defender now, so you'll have to communicate with them for any legal advice about the cases, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then Monique Jackson bonded, 20, yeah?
Jackson bonded.
Okay. Good morning, tell me your name.
My name is Rogelio Leon, Your Honor.
Mr. Leon?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Leon, you're here in 2020 CF 11128AO. You're arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling, battery, assault, and criminal mischief. I do find that there's probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You cannot have any contact with any victims or any witnesses. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no weapons or firearms or ammunition. Your
Yes,
bond
ma'am.
on count 1 is 5,000, count 2 will be 500, count 3 will be 100, count 4 will be 100. And you're out on release in 2020 CF 400AO. I am revoking the release and setting that bond at none at this time. You do have the public defender in that case. They're gonna have to file a motion to set bond for you, okay?
Your Honor, Ms. Long refused.
Okay, I'm gonna find her refusal to be a waiver, appoint the public defender. 2020 CF 11137AO. She's charged with trafficking in over 10 grams, less than 200 grams of MDMA, trafficking in fentanyl 4 grams or more, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, and trafficking in methamphetamines over 28 grams. And so I don't know, Mr. Koch, if you saw the bond correction sheet. So count, excuse me, count 1, count 2, and count 5 originally should come in at $100,000 on each count. Okay, I'm just letting you know is the bond correction.
Yes, Judge.
So I do find that there's probable cause for those offenses. She's not to possess weapons, firearms, ammunition. She's not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. She's not to possess or consume alcohol or illegal substances without a valid prescription, and no contact with any witnesses in the case. And it's a male, and I'm sorry, him. And so I am staying the bond at 100,000 on count 1. Count 2 will also remain at 100,000. Count 3 and 4 are 150, and count 5 I'll reduce to 10,000. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
My name is Steve LaVey.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 CF 11145AO. You're arrested for an aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, trespassing in an occupied structure, conveyance, assault, and resisting an officer without violence. I don't find probable cause for count 1. I find probable cause for the remaining counts. I don't think that the affidavit, all I'm seeing is that he picked up a large stick and walked toward me. As he got closer, I drew my taser, gave him verbal commands to drop the stick. He dropped the stick and walked in the direction of Sergeant Mark Jr. There's no indication that how far he was, if he made any overt moves, if the officer was actually in fear. So I just don't find that there's probable cause for count 1.
The state's not making a request, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm RORing on count 1. Bond on count 2 is 1,000. Bond on count 3 is 500. Bond on count 4 is 100. No contact with victims or witnesses, no weapons, firearms, or ammunition, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. I am revoking the releases in 2020 CF 9342 and 2020 MM 4659AO. I believe that you have the public defender in both cases? Okay. And so your attorneys will have to file a motion to set bond or any other appropriate motions for you in those cases.
Your Honor, Mr. McCann is medical.
Okay, and so I'm gonna appoint the public defender, 2020 CF 11133AO. Mr. Koch, do you wanna waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so she's charged with possession of heroin, there's probable cause, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 1,000, no action on the out on release case. Good morning, tell me your name.
Hi, good morning. Kayla Martinez.
All right, Ms. Martinez, you're here in 2020 CF 11139AO. It's a battery on a law enforcement officer. There is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No contact with any victim, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond will stay at $2,500.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, please.
Alan Bryant Miller.
All right, Mr. Miller, you're here in 2020 CF 11123AO. You're arrested for petty theft, 2 prior convictions. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to return to any Walmart. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. And your bond is stayed at 1,000. I am revoking the release in 2020 CF 8082AO and setting the bond at none. You do have an attorney in that case. They will have to file a motion for you. Good morning. Tell me your name.
Your Honor, Mr. Fulton, bonded.
Okay, we'll take no action on that. And I think he had 2 cases. All right, tell me your name.
Maqsudur Rahman.
All right, Mr. Rahman, you're here in 2020 CF 11112AO. You're arrested for criminal mischief. There's probable cause. And then also 2020 CF 11111AO. It's criminal mischief. Well, these are both over 1,000, and there's probable cause. In 2020 CF 11110AO, it's criminal mischief over 1,000, and there is probable cause. So I'm going to appoint the public defender in all the cases. You're not to return back to the Publix at 12195 South Orange Blossom Trail. No contact with victims or witnesses in the case.
Okay.
And I am staying
Okay.
the bond on each case at $1,000.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Great, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
My name is Genick St. Fleur.
All right, sir. All right. So I've got 2020 CF 11113AO, and that's a warrant. Probable cause was previously found for burglary of a conveyance, possession of burglary tools, and criminal mischief. And I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. And so no contact with victims or witnesses, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. Those bonds will stay at 10,000. I'm going to reduce count 2 to 150 and count 3 to 150. And then I've got 2020 CF 11125AO, burglary of a conveyance and criminal mischief. And there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. No contact with victims or witnesses, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And that bond will stay at 3,500 to 100. So what was a little confusing to me here is that I had out on release cases for 2020 CF 11068 and 2020 CT 567280. I pulled those cases up. It doesn't appear that there was any initial, there's no paperwork in Odyssey, and when I read the affidavits, they're the same affidavits.
Can I say something?
No, hold on.
All right.
So they're the same, it's the same factual scenario, other than just wasn't charged with the motor vehicle in the. So am I supposed to have these two cases for IA? Because you have them, they're listed up top and then they're listed in the out on release case, but I don't even think he's been seen by a judge on them.
Yeah, he was arrested on it on the 13th and he bonded, and I guess the bondsmen came off his bonds as of today.
But these offense dates all occur, they're all the same offenses. Right, but then there's a warrant. The warrant contains all the facts, and then the second case is I don't understand. It's all related to the same offenses. So I'm not gonna IA him or I'm not gonna revoke anything because I think it's all related to the same offense. And I don't think that they occurred after he was released because the offense dates are before he was released. It's just confusing in terms of the way it happened because it looks like he did bond. I mean, there's no IA paperwork for any of these things. So
Yeah, I think the out on bond cases were probable cause affidavits, but the cases that you just IA, they were warrants. So
well, one's a warrant and one's an affidavit, an arrest affidavit, and then these are two arrest affidavits. So you're saying the bondsman came off these?
yes.
Okay, I don't think the offenses occurred after he was released. So I'm just gonna impose the bonds that were intact previously. So on the 2020 CT 5672, the bond is 500, don't drive without a valid driver's license. And then 2020 CF 1106880, 3,500, 100, and 100, and the same conditions, no return, no contact with any victims or witnesses, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I think that's all I need to do. We don't have, I don't have any paperwork that the bondsman came off any bonds. There's nothing. It's just showing that he's out on release, and I don't believe that he was out on release when these offenses are alleged to have occurred, so. I'm just reimposing the bond. I'm not finding any he already bonded out. So all I'm doing is reimposing the same bonds that he had and certain conditions with the bonds. So, I don't think I need to make a probable cause finding because he previously bonded out and the bondsman came off the bonds. If in fact I do, then there is probable cause, but I think some of it is the same offenses that are in the warrant. That's my understanding from reading the affidavits, so. Mr. St. Fleur, you're gonna have to figure it out with your attorneys and go through the affidavits and see if they've double charged you in any way, okay? All these offenses are the same offenses in the warrant, really. But we never, was any bond, we don't even have any bondsman paperwork. Yeah, there's nothing attached that bondsman came off or anything like that, so, I don't know.
No, nothing crazy.
Normally they'll have that sheet, you know?
See any charges? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Tell me your name, please.
Maradler Safront.
Okay, Mr. Chiffront, you're here in 2020 CF 10858. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for attempted burglary of a structure, burglary of a conveyance, and criminal mischief. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness, and you're not to return to the scene. I'm striking the pretrial release supervision with weekly check-ins from the warrant. And the bond will stay on count 1 at $2,500. Well, actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna set the bond on count 1, I'm sorry, at 1,000. Count 2 will stay at 2,500. Count 3 will be 100. In those same conditions, but there will be no pretrial release.
Yeah, follow.
Tell me your name, please.
Ashley West.
Please keep the mask on.
Ashley West.
All right, Miss West, you're here in 2020 CF 11129AO. You're arrested for possession of Xanax and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find that there is probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or any drugs without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 1,000 and 100. I am revoking the releases in 2019 CF 15153AO. I'm setting the bond in that matter at 2,500. And in 2020 CF 5178AO, I'm revoking the release and setting that bond at 2,500 as well. You do have the public defender in those cases.
I have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay? There's enough. Okay? Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. All right, tell me your name.
Crystal Williamson.
All right, Miss Williamson, you're here in 2020 CF 11118AO. You're arrested for possession of heroin and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Where are you living?
I'm on the streets.
On the streets? Do you have family here locally?
No.
No? Nobody that you have, where you get your mail? What's the Consulate Drive?
That's where I was picked up.
That's where you were picked up, okay. Where are you from?
New York.
New York. How long have you been in Florida?
Like 20-something years.
20 years? The Central Florida area? Is that a yes? You're
Yes,
nodding
ma'am.
your head.
Sorry.
so-
Yes,
No, that's
ma'am.
fine. And so you've been here for 20 years, but you have no family here? Do you have a place you get your mail?
Yeah, my mom's.
Your mom's? But is that in New York?
No, it's here.
Okay.
They won't help me.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I'm asking if you have family here. And you
Yes.
said no, but
Yes, I
your
do.
mom does live here, okay. And
I
you get-
tried it.
What's your mom's address where you get your mail?
11409 Aries Drive.
How do you spell that?
ARIES Drive.
Is that in Orlando?
Yes.
What's the zip?
32837.
All right, so, Ms. Williamson, they weren't able to qualify you for pretrial release, but you have a failure to appear in 2020. I don't know what that is, but you have to make sure that if I release you today, that you have to come back to court, okay? If you miss court, the judge is gonna give you a warrant, and it's probably gonna be no bond, and then you'll just be sitting here, okay?
Okay.
So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm also ordering that you get in touch with the public defender within 24 hours of your release. confirm the address that you just gave me or any phone number that they can reach you at so that they're able to get in touch with you for any future court date, okay? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on both counts with those conditions of no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and get in touch with the public defender. And then we'll put this address in the court file for you, and maybe the public defender will get it as well. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you get that? All right. Anything else?
Nothing. The state, Your Honor.
Anything?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, we are done for the day.